Hey guys, I'm back.
आ गया आ गया
हो गया तेरा? नहीं मैं बोल लूँ? So in this video we are going to see the most important concept, what is the difference between stress and pressure. Now this is a question which if you'll ask to graduates, they will also hesitate to answer. Now let's see what is the difference between stress and pressure. Let's go point by point. Okay, so let's start with pressure. So how do you define pressure? Pressure is defined by applied force, the force which is applied on a body divided by the surface area on which the pressure is acting. But when you come to stress, how do you define stress? So stress is equal to resultant force by cross sectional area. So one major difference is here you use applied force and here you use resultant force. Another difference is here you use surface area, here you use cross sectional area. Now this surface area, now this force always acts perpendicular to the surface. Condition is the force has to be perpendicular. So F has to be perpendicular. One difference is this. Another difference is in stress, it's not mandatory that your force has to be perpendicular. If it is perpendicular, it's your normal stress. But if it is not perpendicular, it can be your shear stress. So F does not has to be perpendicular. Now let us see what is applied force and what is resultant force. Now if you take a block and you apply a force to the block, say F. Now you know that every body has to be in equilibrium, and in order to be in equilibrium, this body is going to apply a force, or it will exert a force opposite to the applied force. Now that force is called as resultant force. Now this resultant force is used to find stress, and this applied force is used to find pressure. Now you will ask, will these forces be equal always? Now if it is in equilibrium state, then these forces F is equal to R, and if it is not equilibrium, F will not be equal to R. Now this is one difference which is from force point of view and the direction point of view. Now let's see the another difference. Okay, so you will find many differences on internet, but they will not clear the basic logic. So what is the basic logic? See, if it is a body, how do you find whether the applied force will create pressure or a stress? So how do you find it? Now the basic logic is pressure is something which is external, which you will apply, and stress is something which will be induced, okay, which is complementary, which has to come. Now if you apply a force on a surface area of a body, so you can say that pressure is applied on the body, which is given by F by A. Okay, so A is area of surface, but because of this force, a resultant force is created, and you will say that because of the applied force, the stress is induced inside the body. Now this stress will be equal to your R divided by area, which is your cross sectional area. Now the logic is clear. Pressure is something external and stress is something internal. Pressure will be applied on the body and stress will be induced inside the body. Another difference is, to define pressure, you just need the magnitude, because pressure is a scalar quantity, but stress is a tensor quantity. So you need magnitude, you need direction. So tensor quantity of second order means you need two directions to define. One more point, because of your pressure, stress will be induced, okay, but because of your stress, pressure cannot be induced. Okay, so this is one important point. Because of pressure, your stress can be induced, but because of stress, pressure will never be induced. Okay, pressure is something which is applied, which you can apply. Pressure is something which is generated. Stress is something which is induced. Pressure is something which is external. Stress is something which is internal. Now one basic, how do you remember this pressure and stress? To remember this, one basic example is, because of your exam pressure, stress will be induced inside your brain. Come on, once again, because of your exam pressure, stress will be induced inside your brain. Now pressure, this exam pressure is something which is external. Because of exam, external pressure is applied, and because of the exam, the stress is induced inside your brain. So stress is something which is internal. Now this is the basic point. This is the basic difference between pressure and stress. Now when I am standing here, I am applying pressure to the floor. But because of my pressure, a stress will be induced inside the floor. If you got to learn something new today, then make sure that you have to share your knowledge, because knowledge will increase as you share it. So if you got something new, do share this video. आग की तरह फैला दो इसे. Let's meet in another video. Till then, tata, goodbye, stay safe.